Hello everyone, my name is Relaxing Panic and this is another reaction to the Monogatari series. It is the second season, episode 17, the first episode of Shinobu Time. So, you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions. You will find a link, replaces circumflex.parts with real dots, and enjoy the reaction. Once you've done, feel free to come back here to hear me out about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, that was nice, to say at least. Holy heck. So, we have another girl who is, well, kind of interested in him. At least, I mean, she's acting pretty weird, there's no question. But, I mean, she kissed him. That's not something everyone can say. And she definitely likes his muscles. Why so ever? So, I guess it is another thing for her. It is more the bodily thing than maybe the kind of love. But I'm pretty sure it will bring more problems in the future, this little kiss. As I said, that Shinobu was having trouble, she was more playful about it, was having trouble with it is one thing, but I really wait for how Senjugahara will think about it. You know it. So, we will have in the next episode possibly a time jump of 400 years, as far as I understood. So possibly we will hear this story of what happened 400 years in the past, when Shinobu was the first time in Japan. So that's kind of interesting, and this darkness is not an aberration. So it is something different, something possibly evil, I can only guess. It's a strange thing, but I can understand the concept. So, I mean, we all know that when we are standing somewhere or we wake up and in the back of our neck we have this feeling someone is watching us or someone is behind us. You know, when you walk in an alley in the evening or at night, and there is this feeling as though someone is looking at you, and you turn around just to make sure. You think you hear some kind of noises. You think you see shadows moving, this kind of stuff. It is your brain going completely crazy. So I can understand this concept of there is something, but I cannot see it. And yes, that is something that puts us into a stress mode, because as human beings, from ancient time, we are used to run and hide in case of an enemy that is more powerful than us is appearing, or to fight. But in both ways we need to know where this enemy is, so we are trying to realize what is around us. So we look, we hear, we smell, even possibly maybe even taste if needed, and we touch. But if your senses just give you the information somewhere is something dangerous, but you cannot grope it, you know, you cannot say completely what it is, that makes us uneasy. So that's when we will either hide or we will run. You know, it's this moment when you know the enemy, the thing that is possibly an enemy is near, but you cannot see it and you cannot interact properly with it. So, but you think it is dangerous, you will run. It is in most cases the best option. So here we have the two of them running. It is Araragi and Hachikuji, which I always adore. So they use the bicycle to pedal away very fast. But even if that is happening, even when he's endangered, he cannot stop from groping. And he's really trying to use all of this to get Hachikuji touchy, if you know what I mean. Although you have to admit, when she said it's coming closer, he instantly switched back from this creepy mode into, okay, I really have to focus, and he was trying to get away faster. So you can see those two sides of him kind of fighting each other here, and I like it. It's a very entertaining thing. So that's the one thing. We had the backpack in the story again, and I'm pretty sure I discussed it in one of the last episodes before, when Hachikuji lost her backpack or forgot it. What does that mean? Because the backpack is a part of her, of the snail. The idea that she is a snail needs the backpack. So when she doesn't need it anymore, as it was mentioned here, she becomes a slug instead. So what does it mean for her future? And she can, as it seems, choose to leave it be somewhere, get it back later, whatever. So there is something improving here, something changing for her. That's one thing. The other thing, that when they tried to escape, her blouse got a little bit ripped open on the shoulder, and one of her braids was open, so she let her hair down, and it was by accident, not by her own means. So the question here is, did it happen because they crashed into something, or was it because they were so close to the darkness? Why do I ask? What is the effect of this darkness? What will it do? Why does it follow? So, wild theory here, what if when it comes close to, as example, an aberration, it changes it? The aberration that we know as Hachikuji is one with, two of her, I'm always saying braids, it's a different thing, I know, and dressed in that way. So, when she came close to darkness, her outer appearance changed into something else, hair down and whatever. So maybe it is like, I'm searching for the right word. There is something called like non-existence that removes things, but I cannot grow up the name, I'm sorry. So the idea of that in a specific place there is nothing. No light, no energy, no air, just nothing. Entropy, that's it. Sorry, I'm talking about entropy. So just guessing, what if darkness is entropy? Which means the removal of everything, the complete opposite of everything. I'm not as good in this as others of you are. As I can see by some of the comments in the comment section, I know some of you out there will possibly have a master degree in physics or something like that, because they're really, really good at explaining black holes and stuff alike. So, in case you know what entropy is completely defined, you're very welcome to write it down. So, my guess, maybe the darkness is some kind of entropy. One thing. So, I'm having an open eye for what's going on with Mayushi, and if she will change, not automatically depending on this darkness theme, but in general. Then we had Ononoki jumping by, and rescuing them by using the fact that it seems, at least to her, that darkness is able to follow them in 2D, so in 2 dimensions on the street and stuff, but not in 3D. So it cannot go up and down, at least not directly. It can possibly not witness it, not perceive it, which is an interesting idea, an interesting question. So, I mean, we know that the darkness, by now, is not an aberration. So, and it seems to have problems following either extreme fast movements, or, although the bicycle was pretty fast, or 3-dimensional movements, which would bring in the question, so if it cannot, as example, exist or perceive 3 dimensions, it would be a 2-dimensional phenomenon. What the heck does that mean? I'm not really sure about it. We will see. Ononoki said that they met yesterday. I have to admit, I'm not sure about that. I'm a little bit lost on the timeline here. So we had the time travel between and everything, so there were many episodes between. It might very well be that they did meet yesterday. Although Araragi said, nope, I don't think so. Later on he said, oh well, it's a lot time. It feels like a lot time since we've seen. Was it really yesterday? So he's not sure either. And I'm not either. So that's the thing here. It might be It might really be that there was just one day between their last meeting, but it might as well be that this is a little trigger already for we have another time jump thing coming on. I mean, we are talking about time long ago, so why not? Yeah, I already discussed the fact that Ononoki is now the next girl in his harem. Nice one. And she, well, okay, so she kissed him on, I think, out of multiple reasons. The one thing is, she has an affection for him. I mean, she said she likes his muscles a lot. So, and he's standing there in his underwear, and she's going for him then to kiss him. So there's at least a tiny bit of her really wanting to do it. And she said, when you give me you want to give me something, you have to give it to me now, because being kind of an undead body, she doesn't know how long she will live. I can understand that argument. It's clever. So I think a part of her really wanted it. But another major fact is that she really likes to play a game herself, and she's aware that Shinobu will not like it. I don't think Shinobu cared so much about it, but it was like a little pinching towards Shinobu, which beat her up in the past. So it's like, hey, I kissed your guy, you know? It's like that. That was me. Not that they are even now, it's just like, you couldn't do anything about it. So I think that's a major thing here, and it worked, no question. However, I still ask myself what will happen in the future when Senjugahara finds out. And she said she wanted to make him think about stuff like loyalty and being the one for the one girl and stuff like that. So that led to the interesting fact that, to shut her up, kind of, Araragi then kissed Shinobu later on, because he wanted to tell her about the darkness, because it was important to him, and I can understand that. It reminded me of, it's one of my favorite phrases. One might question it, you know, especially nowadays, but there was someone who said the best way to shut a woman's mouth is to kiss it. So, well, it's possibly the same for a man's mouth, so why? Whatever. What I'm not sure about, however, is the underwear and the color of the underwear. I mean, there was this moment with Shinobu and the underwear was red, and all the other time it is blue. So I'm not completely sure if that has some kind of meaning, or if they just. I'm always guessing that they did not screw it up at production. You know, I mean, if you see this series, they are thinking so much about small gestures, about simple words or phrases that later on become important, about things you see which you later on understand or put into concept, that I'm pretty sure they did not screw that one up in production and someone just used the wrong color for one scene. So there is possibly like a meaning to it, especially thus this series works a lot with colors. So I've seen it and I have no clue. And all the time, Hachikuji is lying on top of this tower here in the picture, and seems to be out, which is a bit. I mean, she's out for quite a while by now, which hasn't been yet addressed, but it worries me a little bit. I mean, she fell from the bike. Okay, so maybe she hit her head. That might be. But the other thing is that whatever hit her to rip open the blouse and the hair, if it was darkness, we might have an effect on her already. So looking out for that as well. And last but not least, 400 years ago, Japan, Shinobu, the vampire. That will be interesting. And she already said that's where she made her first servant, kind of. So I'm interested to see if we will learn a bit more about this person, and if this person will somehow have an influence on nowadays, because it doesn't have to mean that the servant is dead, you know. If it is made by a vampire, it could very well live still, or it could have had children, grandchildren and so on, which will be maybe some we will meet now. So there's a lot of options there. Really looking forward to that one. So that's it from me this time. I hope you liked. And as always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And until the next time, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.